What's up guys, my name is Courtney Budzyn and this is What's for Din. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a slow cooker lemon garlic chicken. The sauce in this is absolutely to die for, and I love to pour the sauce over some freshly steamed broccoli and a little bit of brown rice. This makes for a really healthy meal. It's absolutely delicious and very easy to do. So you're going to need some chicken breasts. I have 3 of them here that I already seasoned with salt, pepper, rosemary, and a little bit of garlic powder for some extra flavor. You're also going to need some chicken broth, a lot of freshly minced garlic, some onion, white wine, and if you don't want to use white wine, you can just use extra chicken broth in replacement. You're also going to need some lemon juice, lemon zest, and some freshly chopped thyme. You can use dried if you want, but the measurement's a little bit different, so I'll leave all the measurements below. You're also going to need some extra virgin olive oil and some salt and pepper. So the first thing we're going to do is take our chicken over to the stove and we're going to brown it up really nice, and then we're going to deglaze it with some white wine because that's going to create so much flavor in this dish, and I really recommend doing it. You don't have to, but trust me when I say that when you do that, the flavor is just way better than it would be if you were just throw it all in the crock pot and let it sit by itself. So let's head over to the stove and we'll get it cooking. So the first thing I like to do is plug in my slow cooker and get it started with the heat on. So I turn it on high. That way, once we're done with the chicken and everything, we can just throw it in, and this is already nice and warm for us. So what I have here in my pan, I have some olive oil that's up to temperature, and I'm just going to drop my chicken in here. Don't overcrowd your pan because then it won't brown properly. I think this is just about the max that you want to load your pan. But you want that heat generally pretty high, but because you're using olive oil, be careful not to go too high in the temperature because you're going to burn your olive oil. So we're just looking to brown these on both sides. We're not looking to cook it through. So depending on what type of pan you're using or how big your chicken is, how thick it is, that will determine how long it takes to brown on each side. But I'd say mine will take about anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes to brown on each side. You want to develop a nice golden color. Okay, so this is a decent amount of color. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to give them a flip. Do it on the other side. Okay, so we got a decent amount of color on both sides, so I'm going to remove them. I'm just going to set them on a plate next to us. And you can see all those burnt bits at the bottom of the pan. That's going to give us so much flavor. So I'm going to add my white wine. Woo! Opa! And I'm going to add my chicken broth and my lemon juice. We'll just give that a stir and scrape any bits off the bottom. You can see it immediately deglazes the pan. So we're just going to let this come up to a simmer so that we can have it all nice and heated through. And while we're waiting for that to happen, I can assemble the rest of it. So I'm going to add my onion right in the bottom of the pan, or the slow cooker. I'm going to add my garlic, and then we're going to place our chicken in there right on top. So now that that's simmering, I'm just going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper because our chicken broth has no sodium in it. And we're going to pour this carefully right over top of our chicken, onions, and garlic. I'm going to add our lemon zest and our thyme. And that's all you got to do. So you can either cook this for 3 hours on high or 6 hours on low. I'm going to do it 6 hours on low, and then I'll show you what you can do next. So this part is also optional, but I do find that it makes a good difference because who doesn't like thick sauce? So once the 6 hours are completed, I like to separate the broth from the chicken, and then I put the broth in a pan on the stove on high heat. And then separately, I mix together 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and a ½ cup of cold water. And it's really important that the water's cold, otherwise this won't work. Then once I have the liquids at a boil, I add my cold cornstarch mixture. And then once it's thick, you can add it right back into the slow cooker, add some fresh parsley, and you are ready to serve. So our lemon chicken is done, and I also cooked up a little bit of rice and steamed some broccoli, and I like to pour the sauce over the top because that sauce is just so stinking good. You gotta pour it over something. You gotta. Just can't not do it. Come on. Oops. The amount of flavor that's in this is just ridiculous. Even Flavor Flav's gonna call you up and say, hey, can I come over for dinner? So I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me, and if you do want to remake this recipe, just look below in the description box. I'll leave all the measurements as well as the written instructions. And if you did like this video, don't forget to smack that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe because I have many more recipes to come. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thyme.